Hello there. Hello, hello, hello. It has been a long time since I've done a live, and I haven't let anybody know that I'm doing this today because I wasn't even sure that I was going to. Woke up this morning and thought, yeah, it's this time of year. I don't often send winter solstice greetings to anybody, but come on, it's the end of 2024. Now, I apologize that really I haven't done many lives this year at all. I was expecting to kind of really plow on and get some going because we were doing well in 2023. But next year, I'm hoping that we'll get down to some real regular lives again. And that'll be fantastic, I think, because I was really enjoying those. So what I wanted to do today, really, really just quickly pop in and say hello and wish you well. And in particular, all my subscribers, thank you so much. And thank you for subscribing over the period that we've been going. And I also want to drop in here some reminders for us for this holiday period coming up, right? I thought that it's lovely to try to regroup our thinking about how we work with the subtle energies, how we work with earth energy in our homes, at sacred sites, day to day, all of this stuff. And that really is what we're going to be concentrating on next year in these lives and other programs that I will put up. It's the presence of subtle energy, earth energy. What does it mean? How does it affect us? What can we do with it? How do we work with it to really improve our experience of the reality that we find ourselves in? And this is really what we're about here. Now, I've got 12 points, believe it or not. I thought I just jot down one or two, but I've got 12. So I'm not going to go into detail today. I just want to run them by you. And maybe if they resonate with you, then you can kind of pick up on them and think about them over these next few weeks. Time when you're spending time with your family or traveling or quiet time. Let's not forget the importance of meditation in all of this. So really, let's go. Number one, remember, and this is really important, remember that the ancients, thousands of years ago, interacted with this subtle energy. Now, there's a lovely video on the channel called Spirit of the Serpent. And that is about a group of people exploring the subtle energy, using dowsing to explore the earth energy at a sacred site in Cornwall in the UK. And that I can recommend. If you've got half an hour at some point over the next few weeks, pop into that, drop into that, see what my dear old mentor, Hamish Miller, how he interpreted the energy flow in that site. And think about the fact that that's a powerful earth energy site, but the same thing applies to your home. Your home is, in effect, a sort of sacred site, especially once you connect to the earth energy in your home, which is a positive thing. It's we often think of ley lines and earth energy lines as being negative and detrimental. There are aspects that are disruptive to people living in properties. We'll talk about that another time. But the most important thing is to actually enhance the energy, the flows of subtle energy in your own home, because what it does is enables you to recreate your presence more mindfully. More on that in due course. But just remember, the ancients used these sacred sites. They used the nodal points of crossing energy lines to influence the society in which they lived, bearing in mind that, of course, on the planet, there were far fewer of them then than there are now. Right. Number two, you're not alone. You're not alone in so many senses in wanting to know more about earth energy and working with the earth energy and working with your own subtle energy field. You are a part of higher beings, and the higher beings are a part of you. There is no differentiation. We are not, although it seems that we are not separate beings from the higher aspects of consciousness in this conscious cosmos. And we are not disconnected from each other at the human level. Obviously, physicality, we are, clearly. But, right, you know where I'm going with that. Just remember, you are not alone. Even if you're spending time on your own and you didn't expect to be, and even if you found yourself on your own and you didn't expect to be, connect to the higher beings, connect to the highest vibration that you can achieve within the conscious cosmos, and feel it in your heart and just sit quietly with it. And remember that there are always those that care about you. Number three, dowsing. Dowsing will help you l- really access this energy for your benefit. Um, hello, Warrior of Light. Thank you for commenting there. Sorry, I'll just come back to you. What I'll do is I'll notify people in the new year. I'll put a whole load of stuff out, and you'll see that we're going to do some stuff next year, and it's going to be great. So looking forward to that. So keep an eye on the channel, and there'll be stuff coming up. Thanks for commenting. So number three, dowsing. Dowsing is it's just a brilliant way of really kind of harnessing your spiritual development, your awakening that has occurred. Now, that awakening may have occurred some time ago, or you may be one of these people that is only just recently now coming to, oh, there's more to life than I thought there was. Or you may be a youngster that's really just kind of grown up with it. And it's like, yeah, well, what's this about? But let's go. Dowsing is fantastic. It's a practical way. It gives you something to do, something to interact with, a way of harnessing your mind and focusing your mind and focusing your energy into the space that you direct your intent into. And earth energy is a fantastic way of accessing the manifesting properties of the reality in which we live. And of course, dowsing is a great way to find those power centers that we've got and we talked about in the house and all that sort of stuff. Okay, so dowsing is integral to this. So if you haven't yet had a go, maybe over this Christmas holiday period, bend a bit of metal, bend a bit of wire. It doesn't matter to start with what you use. Just use something that's simple, or pick up a pendulum and have a go. There's a whole playlist of how to douse on the channel. Have a go at that. Now, of course, in line with that, number four, meditation. Meditation is absolutely essential. You've got to, I'm sorry, using the got word, but you've got to dive into meditation and really work with it at your own level, but work with it and understand that what you're doing in meditation is really training your mind to be able to focus. And the focus is what's really important. And the meditation will generally help to raise your vibration and help with any healing work that you're doing in association with earth energy or not. Okay. So just really dip into meditation. Meditation is not difficult. Dean Slater has a channel and he shows you how very, very simple meditation is at the basic level. Dive into it. Have a look. He was one of my guests a couple of years ago. The other thing that goes hand in hand with meditation, this is number five, develop your mindfulness. Now, look, as you connect to the earth energy and the subtle energies of your reality, of your experience, our best teacher is the reality that we find ourselves in. What do we see? What do we experience? We know this, right, from all manifesting kind of classes and that sort of stuff. But the only way we start to notice is when we're mindful, and mindfulness is so important, right up there at the top of this list in a way. It's number five, but it really should be kind of right up there. To be aware, to be present, to be in the now, as they say, but to be present, to be paying attention to what is going on, not only in yourself, but more importantly, I feel in the natural world around you. If you can get out into the countryside, then to be mindful in the countryside, to notice the shifts of the air flows around you and the sun as you maybe just lower your energy into the place that you find yourself. Be mindful, see what you feel. In all of this, what we're looking for is healing. Working with the earth energy, working with aspects that we can find of ourselves that is a healing modality for ourselves. Healing is a word that's bandied around a lot, and all it is discovering ourselves and moving on from the issues that we have, whether they're physical, mental, or circumstance in many respects. By finding our true self, that enables us to link into a power that we didn't previously know that we had, and we can work with that. But it is not a quick fix necessarily. There was some time ago, there was a whole bunch of publicity around quantum healing, and it was probably working, but it was like, yeah, we can shift. Yes, we can shift. Yes, we can shift. But quite commonly, those shifts are smaller steps, But over a small amount of time, those small steps can add up to some really big changes, substantial changes. But with all of this stuff, with subtle energy and earth energy, the changes and the things that we notice are subtle, but they are significant if we allow them to be. Okay, so it's about choices there. Now, the other thing is, so important. I mean, all of these really should be on a kind of a level playing field, all of these points. This is point number 7. Excuse me, I just need to shift in my chair. Point number 7 is honesty. Be honest with everything that you deal with in your entire world, because the honesty that you practice on a day-to-day basis, whether you're interacting with people or interacting with things, or just being honest with yourself about the way that you feel, about the way that you encounter things, that honesty means that your resonance is at a level that when you enter into the subtle realms, when you start to really develop a connection to it, and you start to experience some of the personalities that you can find in subtle energy, if you're coming from the honesty, the level of honesty, the vibration of honesty, then what you receive is honest. This is a reflection of our inner selves. If we are honest in everything, we receive honesty back. If we're not, and we haven't even noticed that we're not honest in many ways, in many little ways, I'm not accusing anybody of anything here, it's just there's so many ways of not being honest to get by in the world, that we don't even realize sometimes that we're not doing that. And then what happens if we haven't done the heart work, when we start to access the subtle energy realms, which manifest back really quickly, then what we get back is actually dodgy information. It's dubious, and it can manifest as tricksters and that sort of energy, because it's not honest energy. Okay, let's move on from that. We're going to get a bit deep. We'll cover that again in future sessions, of course. Do you know what? Number 8. This is a D word, which many people, especially those of us in this kind of spiritually inclined arena, we're not very keen on. Develop discipline. Discipline is really tricky. But the thing is about it is that when we combine discipline, self-discipline, with mindfulness and meditation, then what we can actually achieve is we start to recognize our agency. It's called agency. It's really our ability to make choices, choices that are good for us, good for others, good for everything. But choices at that level can only be done if we are disciplined and we understand the power of mindfulness. We understand the power of meditation, where we use the discipline to be able to access information in a certain way and at a certain time. Free will, yeah, it exists, and we are a part of the higher beings, and the higher beings are a part of us, as we mentioned earlier on. And therefore, sometimes we can feel that actually, yeah, we don't have any choice in what we do, but we kind of do. And this is a paradox. This is one of the paradoxes of our reality, that we both at the same time have free will, but possibly don't have free will. So that is something in itself that we'll cover in a live next year. It's a fascinating paradox. Number 9, really interesting point that we forget, I think, often. The world is recreated around us in every single moment. Okay, the world is recreated around us in every single moment. Now, we can look at that from a psychological perspective and say, well, yes, our cognitive biases mean that we expect to see things in a certain way, but also from a metaphysical or spiritual perspective, it is actually recreated in every moment around us. We are the aspect of the conscious cosmos that exists and transmits and receives information. This being largely illusory. But it's here because it's our learning, it's our kindergarten, it's where we develop and expand as conscious beings. But remember, it's recreated in every moment. And touched on the way that reality can be our teacher. And number 11 here, number 10 here is actually this point that all levels of the world around us can be our teacher, all levels. The subtle energies are fantastic at teaching us things when we understand how we're interacting with the subtle energies. And we have to learn a language of interacting because it's fundamentally symbolic, and it really does depend on what we're putting into what we get out and what level we're at. But equally, if we simply are practicing manifesting, we all know about that now. If we are, in fact, I'll come back onto manifesting at point number 12, but the world around us could be our teacher, because if we're mindful and we can see the changes, then we can see what's required of us, what we feel is required of us, and the direction that we really want to go in. Hello, Lou. Nice to see you. Lovely. Oh, Sean, hello. You found me. I wondered who might find me. I hope you're well, Sean. Hope you're well. So, yeah, slightly distracted. I'm not used to doing these lives. So all levels of the world around us can be our teacher, whether it's the physical being or the subtle energies. Okay. And certainly when we get to a stage where we're more in touch with the higher beings, the aspects of the conscious cosmos that my dear old mentor used to refer to as the management, and I've sort of steered away from calling them the management. Novanart, hey, good to see you. So as we get more developed in that sense of relating to those beings, then they can be an incredible teacher. Not necessarily because they're talking to us. We don't have to be a medium like the great Paul Selig to have that feedback and the interaction with those higher beings. But there is a presence that we can feel either separately, use that word, or as a sort of an integrated feeling. Hello. Fantastic. Oh, Cumbran. Oh, they're great. Good to see you, Reese. Yeah, Merlin's boy. That's great, huh? So, yeah, there's a wonderful teaching that's available from our reality, which, of course, is really part of us. Now then, I'm not going to be going long. It's lovely that you are finding me doing this. I really just kind of clocked on to say hi, happy solstice. So it's really good. It's lovely to have you here. Thank you. Number 11. Right. Okay. So spirits of the deceased. Spirits are a natural part of this experience of living. This is something to remember, something to reflect on over the quiet times of this period that we're in, because I mean, we're now kind of starting on our way back to the light. And what happens in the darkness, in the seasons of the darkness, darkness is not a bad thing. Darkness is good. It's hunkering down and reflecting and building in readiness for the activity of the light. But the thing is that what actually happens for us in our physical sense and mental sense in the darker months is that we are more open to the subtle aspects of our existence, because as we lose the light early in the day, especially here in the UK, the other senses are heightened, and therefore if we're going to encounter something in the subtle realms, a subtle personality or what have you, we're more likely to do that in the winter months. And especially, of course, as we know, around Halloween, the end of October, the veil is the thinnest, which it is. And here we are at winter solstice when the days are shortest. And that veil is still incredibly thin. But the thing is, spirits are a natural part of this experience of living, and the spirits are not to be feared. And most of you watching this now or on playback will recognize that so what? Of course they're not to be feared. Some people come into this, maybe finding it later, will think, well, how can you say that? Because some people do have really bad experiences with spirits, especially when they first open up. But a lot of that is about just not understanding what's going on. And spirits are forms, consciousness in human form, just like we are. Obviously, they're in a different vibration. But the thing is, with consciousness, this isness that we live in, it is built on the principle of, the infinite field of possibility will manifest for us as observers. It will manifest human form and human like identities really quickly, really easily, because that's what we're kind of geared to do. So, and spirit energy, consciousness, the human consciousness of um, spirits that exists is everywhere, and it's our reacting with that infinite field of possibility that actually enables us to, oh, there's a spirit, to see it, to have it present. Relating this back to earth energy, I was told a long time ago by, bless her, the guardian energy in our old house, that earth energy lines are like rows of people lining up. It's like queues of people lining up, and you can follow them, but they're all people because they are people in potential. And that's what earth energy is. It's focused aspects of consciousness, informational flow around the landscape, and that's why tuning into it enables us to get a kind of a shortcut into the fabric of the matrix. Okay, I don't use that expression very often, but that's basically the truth. The matrix is a good enough description of our reality that we live in. So, spirits, they are to be respected as everything is that we encounter in that realm, and treated with respect. As I say, treat them well. Don't bring your fear into the interaction. Just don't do it. If you are fearful, don't go there. Okay, last one. Point 12. I don't know how long we've been on. 20 minutes. Goodness. Okay. Point number 12 to reflect on over this holiday period, over this lovely holiday phase. What I've written here is manifesting does not happen consciously. That's a bit of a might be a bit of a shock. Manifesting does not happen consciously. What happens is that we consciously we go through the process of manifesting whatever skill, training, whatever process we use, then activates the unconscious aspect of us. It's our unconscious self that is really creating the environment in which we live. We can adjust it consciously. And of course, this is the point. I'm sitting here saying, well, connect into the earth energy grid, connect to your earth energy power center consciously, because it will help with your manifesting. Yes, well, it will, because you meditate, which means that you go into a different brainwave frequency, and you're accessing, you're having a shift of consciousness, your perceptions are changing, and you're closer in resonance to your heart, to your soul self, you could call that higher self, to the fabric of creation, to the energy of creation, the inspiration of creation. So therefore, in that sense, you are consciously manifesting, but really the actual powerhouse is your unconscious and your soul self in harmony with those beings, as we've said, the higher beings that are a part of us and we're a part of them. So the bottom line is, we as human beings are not what we think we are half the time, meaning half the people that we come across. No, what I mean is, that's a classic error, isn't it? What I mean is, we're not what we think we are, right? Until we start to learn far more about what's going on around us and our role in it. And then we discover that we really truly are what, so many spiritual gurus say, which is that we are that eternal being, because we are that aspect of consciousness that is simply taking form in this realm in order to learn, to develop, to do things, to be present in another aspect of now, in another vibration, in another realm. at some stage. Now, I'm going to stop there because clearly we're getting into completely abstract stuff, and it's far enough, isn't it? It's far enough. 12 points there. I'll just recap really quickly. The ancients knew about this subtle energy that we talk about all the time. It's always been here. It's a part of the fabric of our reality. We're not alone. We're connected to the higher beings. The higher beings are a part of us. We're a part of them. Dowsing is a brilliant practical way, a simple way to start to get in there and really understand and develop your understanding and your wisdom about what this stuff is about and what it can do for you in a good way. Meditation is essential as part of that. Mindfulness is essential as part of that. Absolutely essential. Acknowledge that self-healing, the work you're doing on yourself, it's not a one-stop fix. It takes a little time and a little effort. And in order to do that, you need to develop discipline and you need to be honest with yourself and others. Doesn't mean to say you have to be rude. You just have to be honest. The world is recreated around you in every moment. That gives you the opportunity to make changes. We don't have to think, oh, I'll try again tomorrow. Tomorrow is a new day. Every nanosecond is a new day, is a new moment. It is genuinely recreated every second, every nanosecond. Everything that we experience on the seemingly external environment can be our teacher, whether it's subtle energy or physical energy. Remember that the physical world is also not as rigid and as fixed as it appears. Spirits are a natural part of the subtle energies. They are an aspect of consciousness. They are not to be feared. They are to be respected. And manifesting does not happen consciously, it happens unconsciously, but we can work consciously to encourage the subconscious, unconscious processes. So there you go. There's 12 points. I guess there would be a logic to revisiting those 12 points in lives once a month next year. Let's see how that goes, maybe. Happy solstice. Happy solstice. Happy solstice. Thank you for being present. 15 of you found this little event today. So thank you very much for that, for just being there and for commenting. Lovely. Thank you very much. Do click the thumbs up because it really does help YouTube say something's going on and worth them paying attention to. Charlie, thank you. Thank you. I'm just reading. Lou, thank you. Just before I go, what I've written here, and I'll just read it, is sit with the energy lines with intention of harmony and peace within. Sit with the energy lines with the intention of harmony and peace within. Open your hearts to it. No matter what's going on in your world, if you can find a few seconds just to sit with the earth energy in your home or the home that you find yourselves in over this period, sit with it and allow your heart and your love and your compassion that everybody has, but half the time we cover it in so much shielding. Allow it. Be yourself. Be present. And have the intention of harmony and peace. And have a lovely holiday in peace, balance, and harmony. And I'll see you next year. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye. Take care.